It is a new year, and this might be the year for you to buy maybe your first house or to sell your property, downsize, or gosh, God forbid, become mortgage free. Wouldn't that be nice? So what can we expect from the property market in 2025? Well, we do know that New Zealand has listed over $115 billion worth of residential property for sale in 2024, marking a significant $18.86 billion increase from the year before that. This is according to realestate.co.nz's latest data. More than 110,000 new residential properties were listed last year. That's up nearly 19,000 previous year on year. Wellington led the regional growth with just over 8,000 new listings, or up 37%. Maybe all the job losses in the public sector might have had something to do with that. I'm just guessing. The national average asking price remains stable, down just 0.3% year on year. And the South Island continues its trend upwards, with Central Otago Lake districts showing the highest price growth. Why? Because I think it's the most beautiful place to be. I'd love to get there. But there's lots of things going on, including two of the biggest banks cutting their mortgage rates. Might have just heard it on our news. Property values nationally, though, are falling. Arguably the most intriguing aspect of the property market at present has been the stampede towards short-term fixed rates or even floating loans. So look, there's a lot there, and so let's unpack it. And it's great to welcome back for 2025 our property/political commentator, our PPC. It's Ashley Church. Ashley, welcome.
Leah, hello.
It's great to be back.
I have a question.
Go.
I have a
Yes.
question. Just so the last time I spoke to you, which was I don't know mid December, I think,
Yes.
you were off. You were tailing yourself up, and you were off to a Christmas party. You were going to meet Kelly for the first time, because I didn't realise up until then that you guys just conversed remotely.
Yes.
And there was all sorts of anticipation. So I have to know, how did that go? Was it love at first sight, or did you decide you hated each other?
Ashley, you should. It was something It was something out of a movie. It was like.
Was it? Casablanca.
It was just. I saw her across a crowded room, and
my face was pressed to the window.
No, actually, the true story is her face was pressed against the window. I was sitting down waiting for her. And she walked past and outside, and it was like one of those, what is it, Kelly? It's to stop the rain. They have the
sort of like
down.
a marquee wall,
you know the
like
marquee plastic, the thick plastic.
Yeah.
And I looked up from my martini, and there she's pressed her whole face up against the wall, literally doing like a.
It's a story
And
for
I
the
said,
ages.
and I went,
love at
"That's
first
Kelly."
sight. Yeah.
And she came in, and we hugged and had a beautiful time.
Sat down and
That's
talked as if
lovely.
we've known each
Beautiful.
other forever. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and then
beautiful.
actually, you would have missed that and then we went. My husband and I did a road trip after Christmas, and we spent one night at Kelly and her great partner Dave's place in Levin.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
And
You might be
it's,
spending too much time together now.
Wow.
Well, we've had a break since then. Now we're back together, so it's okay. Distance is good.
Yeah,
Small
we're
doses.
we're keeping it fresh. She doesn't want to get sick of me. I don't want to get sick of her. That's how we work it.
That's right. Yeah.
That is all I've been waiting for a month.
Oh, actually, look, we had a bloody great time. It was fantastic.
Come see you next, Ashley.
We're going to come see you next in the Bay, Ashley. You wait, buddy. We're coming.
I'm away that day.
I'm away there. I haven't even named what day, but I love it. I'm away there. I'm doing my hair, girls. I won't
sick.
be there. I'm sick. Dear
No,
goodness.
anytime, guys. Anytime.
All right. Hey, look, let's jump in here. Where do we start, Ashley? Look, firstly, I'm a bit confused because one press release I saw said the national average asking prices remain stable, but another said property values nationally have fallen by nearly 18% from their post-COVID peak.
They're two different things, Leah. They're two different things. One's the asking price, the other one's what they sell for. So asking price. Yeah,
I'm off to a good start.
Yeah.
So that's why they're different.
So one figure's measuring the actual sales price, the other one's measuring what they ask for. So one's an interesting barometer of people's expectations, the other one's the reality. And just relating to your figures earlier about listings, that's interesting too, because remember, that's listings, that's not sales, that's listings, and they're again two very different things.
True.
So interestingly, and there's that big jump in 2024, nearly 20 billion worth of additional properties on the market. That's a reflection of the fact that prior to 2024, basically between the end of 2021 and in 2023, you had this period where people were terrified to sell their homes because they thought house prices were dropping and they were going to lose money on them. There was a bit of a burst of confidence at the end of 2023, which led to, I think, a lot more people listing their homes on the market thinking, okay, well, the market's now turned. So that doesn't necessarily mean that they sold, and it certainly doesn't necessarily mean that they sold at the prices that people might have expected of them, simply that the listings are up. And that's probably a trend you'll continue to see because, you can put off selling a home for so long, but if you have to sell it, you've got to sell it.
Right, gotcha. ANZ, BNZ, they've cut their mortgage rates amid rising competition. Do you expect others to follow?
Well, I do, but that's actually a bit mischievous, and they did it last time too. So what's happening here is there's an OCR announcement coming out
today, wasn't it?
I think it's February.
That was
I can't
CPI.
remember when, but yeah. And where it's widely expected that the Reserve Bank will further drop the official cash rate by anything, I think, between 50 basis points, which is 0.5%, and 75 basis points, which is 0.75%. And so by the banks doing this in advance, because I think both of them, from what I saw, one of them dropped by about 0.25 and the other one dropped 0.2. I think the reason they do that is because I think that cut will be higher, and what they'll do is they'll say afterwards, we've already made our cut, therefore not having to pass through the full extent of what they would otherwise have passed through if they waited to do it after. So you see what they're up to. Yeah, so it's actually a bit mischievous. It's a way of saying, no, we've already had our cuts, but in fact absorbing some of those cuts into their profitability and their margins. So I think that's a bit naughty. And they did it last time, so there's a predictable pattern taking place here now that they've done at least a couple of times.
Right. 47%, I understand, of new loans in November were taken out on floating rates. I mean, I think you and I even talked about that, which spun my head a bit. And just 6% fixed for longer than 12 months. So that would lead me to think that many are expecting that this year is the deal year, hopefully.
Yeah, although once again, and it's the banks again.
Yeah,
and I hate to be, I was going to say I hate to be tough on the banks, but I don't actually hate to be tough on them. I'm quite happy. Yeah. But so the other thing that they're doing, if you look at those numbers, is that they are reducing their rates on the 12 and 18-month rate. Yeah. But they don't appear to be dropping their rate on the 6-month rate. And the reason for that is because I think the banks recognise that rates are coming down. And so what they're hoping that people will do is they'll look at the 12-month rate and they'll fix at a 12-month rate, and which means effectively they'll overshoot any additional cut over the next 12 months, and the banks will basically make a bit more money out of them. So what they should be doing is they should be reflecting those rates in their 6-month rate as well, but they don't want people fixing for 6 months because they know that rates are going to drop further.
Yeah. Some experts, maybe I'll put experts kind of, are they?
Sure.
They've predicted property sales volumes to rise between 10 and 15% this year. Do you agree?
A rise in those volumes?
Yeah, sales volumes to go. Like
absolutely, if not more. I mean, at some point the market needs to return. I've been of the view, you and I have talked about this over the last few months, that the thing that's going to nudge that is going to be the reduction in interest rates. We don't appear to have yet hit a sweet spot where people are going, right, this is it, but that must be close. So, so at some point the market's going to go, okay, it's time. And once that happens, I was talking to somebody about this earlier today, actually. Once that happens, that change will take place very quickly. It's like Chinese whispers. I don't know if I'm still allowed to say that, but Chinese people do whisper, so I think it's okay. So,
you like can on the show, Ashley.
Yeah.
People of the Orient, speak quietly. That's what you meant.
Yeah, that was what I meant. Once it starts, it will grab hold pretty quickly, and that's when that's within a few months of that you start getting FOMO and people thinking, okay, prices are going up again, I might miss out, and that's where your whole cycle comes from. But we've been saying that for the last 6 to 9 months, and it hasn't happened yet. So at some point it must kick in.
So, I mean, obviously we've touched on quite a bit already, but is there anything I've missed to ask you that you think would be the big things or the factors to take in this year for the property market?
Yeah, so the thing for people to watch is what's happening with inflation. So inflation at the moment is under 2%. And so that is a very strong sign to the Reserve Bank, because there's a good and a bad about low inflation. The good is obviously they want to keep inflation down. The bad is that when inflation's down, it's an indication that the economy's in the doldrums, and the Reserve Bank doesn't want to drive us down any further than they have to for any longer than they have to. So these drops in interest rates are about stimulating economic growth, but not doing it to the degree that it's going to kick inflation off again. So the reason I mention that is because if inflation does get up over that 3% band again, and by the way, I don't expect it to, but if it does, then the Reserve Bank will reverse all of this, and it will start clamping down again and putting the OCR back up, and interest rates will rise. So just keep an eye on what's happening there. All the indications are that we're back in the sweet spot and will stay there. But that is the thing I would advise people to keep their eyes on. Having said that, if you look around at the moment at what's going on in the economy and the uncertainty, I think we're very much in the opposite space. I think people have, there's still a lot of worry. People are still struggling to pay their mortgage and pay some of the other, the inflation costs. So everything at the moment for me mitigates toward rates continuing to drop and the economy starting to go through some form of improvement over the next 12 months.
Yep. Oh, cool. All right, Ashley. Now, I think the last time we spoke as well, we were talking about Donald Trump and his impending, return to the big White House. He was officially sworn in as 47th president. He's wasted no time. His pen was at the ready. He has signed multiple executive orders. I mean, it was a blur. He's pardoned people. He's addressed everything from tariffs to TikTok to the Middle East to the climate crisis and world health, as well as claiming America split the atom. What do you make of all of this?
Also claiming that America ended slavery, which I think the Poms would be upset about. But anyway, okay. So, a couple of things. Firstly, I think when we talked last time, I put a number on, I may not have with you guys, but put a number on the Electoral College votes that he'd get, and I was almost bang on. I think I predicted 320, and he got 312. Which, incidentally, just as an aside, much as I'm pleased he's in, I think he made the comment at the time that was the biggest win ever. The way the American Electoral College system works, you've got to get at least 270 votes out of a potential, 540 odd. Ronald Reagan in 1980, out of that 540, he needed to win by 492 electoral votes. And in 1984, when he stood again, he won by 512. So with all due respect to Trump, not even in the same ballpark.
Wow. Facts aren't a strong suit, Ashley.
No, I know. That's true.